All right, let's get right into it. This is a fascinating story, really about how a full-blown personal crisis actually became the spark for a totally new kind of AI. So we're following this founder who had this really intense belief that his work wasn't just a job. It was him, like literally an extension of his own identity. It's a journey about building a tool, sure, but it's just as much about building a person. So before we even get to the product, you have to understand what came first. And what came first was, well, chaos. A period of really intense turmoil, both personally and professionally. It felt like a series of endings, but really, they were just clearing the ground for something new to grow. And man, this timeline really shows it. The path to this idea was just paved with things falling apart. Look at this. March, he leaves a job that just doesn't feel right. April, a project with a partner goes south. May, his relationship ends, adding even more stress. Then, in early June, he tries out this new idea for digital twins and nope, that fizzles out too. It was just one thing after another. But then, right there in the middle of all that chaos, in mid-June, the very first spork of this project, which he called Why, finally shows up. And you know what was driving all this searching? It was this deep core fear. He was genuinely worried that ever since the iPhone came out, we've all been getting, well, dumber. And he saw the next wave of AI as something that could make it so much worse. A tool that could basically accelerate that decline and make us totally passive in our own thinking. So in the middle of all this, he has this huge psychological breakthrough. He realizes he's been running from something. The possibility of failure, of criticism, all the parts of ourselves we try to hide away. He recognized this as his shadow, a concept from psychology. And he understood, really understood, that if he wanted to build something real, something meaningful, he had to stop running and finally face it. And facing that shadow, it led directly to a massive pivot. See, the first idea he had for Why was just wrong. It was deeply flawed. And when he started playing with it, it pretty much confirmed all his worst fears about what AI could do to us. So at first, what did he do? He tried using this early AI to do the thinking for him, to brainstorm ideas, solve his problems, the easy way. But it felt awful, just terrible. It didn't feel like a boost. It felt like he was being replaced. It left him feeling completely hollow. And this right here was the big turning point. He had this powerful realization. He didn't want an AI that just agreed with him or did his homework. No way. He wanted a sparring partner. So the whole mission just flips on its head. Why wasn't going to replace human thought? It was going to challenge it, it was going to sharpen it, and ultimately it was going to make you a better thinker. So he takes this new vision, this new direction, to a friend of his, Lucius, who is a filmmaker and a tech guy, and Lucius he gets it instantly. His reaction? We need more of this. And that simple bit of validation was everything. It was the confirmation he needed to know he was finally on the right track. Okay, so the mission is clear now, but that brings up a huge question. What does an AI challenger actually look like, right? How do you take this really cool abstract philosophy and turn it into a real, tangible product people can use? And this is how the concept started to take shape, step by step. It started with this super grand, maybe a little vague goal: save humanity from AI. Okay, big start. The first prototype was just a single system prompt, but then came the core feature, the real innovation, a council of 5 different AI personalities. And that led straight to the MVP, what he called the world's first AI group chat. This council idea was the secret sauce. Instead of one AI giving you one bland answer, Ya was built as a team of 5 totally distinct AI experts, each one specialized in a different field. Think philosophy, strategy, creativity. So they would take your idea and literally debate it with each other from their unique perspectives. It's kind of like having a personal team of rivals right in your pocket, making sure no single idea gets a free pass. Now, this is where the story gets really interesting. As he's building this tool for self-improvement and critical thinking, the project starts to get deeply and sometimes pretty painfully tangled up with his own personal life and his own struggles. I mean, the mission was huge. It was so lofty. He wasn't just building an app, right? He saw it as building a system to literally amplify human consciousness, to help people find that potential that's just sitting dormant inside them. He wanted to help people become the absolute best version of themselves. But here's the kicker.
At the exact same time he's aiming for this peak human potential with his product, he's grappling with his own habits, his own failures. He felt like he wasn't living up to his own ideals at all. He even confessed that after some personal setbacks, he felt like he was, and I quote, effectively starting back at zero.
And that contrast led to this absolutely crucial realization. He couldn't separate himself from his work. He was Ya. His own personal journey, his struggle to get better, to hold himself accountable, that was the #1 case study for his product. His life had to become the living proof that this whole idea could actually work.
So after weeks of building, of testing, and all of this intense self-reflection, the true purpose of why finally snaps into focus. And it was even bigger than he had originally imagined. Yeah, as he started looking back at the daily conversations he was having with his AI counsel, he noticed something really profound. It wasn't just a series of arguments or problem-solving sessions. The back and forth was actually weaving his thoughts, his struggles, his little wins, his whole life into a single cohesive story.
And that was it. That was the ultimate breakthrough. This product wasn't just a tool, a utility. It was a storytelling machine. Its real purpose was to help people see themselves as the main character, as the hero in their own story. As he put it, why is your counsel that helps you write your life story? Wow. This founder's journey, it just goes to show you sometimes the tools we build are really just mirrors. They reflect back the very challenges we need to face ourselves. He set out to build an AI to challenge his mind, but he ended up creating something that helps you author a life. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? If you had a counsel like that, what would the next chapter of your story be?